on ESPN Radio, ESPN2. We are presented by Progressive Insurance, making it easy to save money when you bundle your auto policy with home, condo, or renters. You'll earn a multi-policy discount. Easy to bundle, easy to save. Visit Progressive.com. I love the one-word Smalls responses before the big response. It's like the breaking news gets the wow and then the big response. But in the audio, we only play the one-word response. Wow. The big wow.
Well, is that not what your reaction was yesterday when you heard that the Bills fired Sean McDermott?
Good question. What was my reaction? What was everyone's reaction? Because I think that a lot of people saw this yesterday and somehow were stunned. And yet we spent the majority of our show up until that point looking back at the playoff weekend, and all of us, all 7 of us that work day to day on this show on the audio side and video side said, this is the story. Like, the Bills losing to the Broncos was a bigger story than any other game, even though the Seahawks blew out the Niners. Obviously, the Bears and the Rams was a great game. Caleb had one of the great passes of all time, and then he had the interception late. The Rams advanced. Patriots doing a heck of a job in winning their game. C.J. Stroud was a huge story. But we all kind of looked at that Bills storyline and said, oh my God, they didn't do it yet again. And we said something has to give. And it did give yesterday. But shock, like, people were shocked by this. I don't get that part of this, Smalls. Why were people so shocked by this when he's been there for 9 years? He's an excellent head coach. He should be at the front of the line for Cleveland, Vegas, Arizona. You and I both thought Tennessee and Miami should have looked at him before making their final hire. Like, he should be a head coach. But 8-8 in the playoffs, and he has Josh Allen, 8-7 with Josh Allen, and 5 of the 7 losses all by one score. We asked Cece yesterday, when you hear that stat blindly, what is that a reflection of? And he said coaching. Mm-hmm. Why was everyone so shocked by this?
Well, I think it's twofold. One, because prior to Sean McDermott, you mentioned that 8-8 record, he has 8 playoff wins. From 96 to 2018, the Bills won 0 playoff games. So he transformed this organization in a lot of ways. And I know that when you have a talent like Josh Allen, that changes the expectations. Look at Lamar. Look at what happened in Buffalo. If you can't get it done with a special talent under center, it intensifies the pressure. And unfortunately, we're seeing people pay for it with their jobs. But I think what was surprising about it to me, Evan, is that when we did the diagnosis on what went wrong with the Bills year after year after year in the playoffs, so many people constantly went back to, well, Josh Allen had to do so much of it on his own. They need more dudes on that team. They need to bring in more talent. Yesterday, you spent a significant amount of time going through different guys that could be available, talent that we could bring to Buffalo that would make the lift a little lighter for Josh Allen. Didn't we do that yesterday?
Yes, of course.
So Sean McDermott is the one that takes the fall, but Brandon Beane, the general manager, not only stays, he gets a promotion. He gets more responsibilities. And I don't like firing anybody. That's not what I'm doing here. It's just hard for me to comprehend Buffalo's thought process there. If you're saying this person is culpable in our lack of success, but this person is not, so much so that we're going to give him a promotion.
I get it, but like, to me, it's weird that people think that Sean McDermott should stay longer because Greg Williams didn't make the playoffs, or Mike Mularkey didn't make the playoffs, or Chan Gailey didn't make the playoffs, or Doug Marrone didn't make the playoffs, or Rex Ryan didn't make the playoffs. Yes, I get it. Like, they were not as good prior to Sean McDermott as they were with Sean McDermott. He raised the bar. He's an excellent football coach. He should be a coach in the NFL immediately with no time off if he chooses. That doesn't mean he should have continued with Buffalo, because something, obviously, every year, it's always something at the end, and they have what is likely going to be a first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback in Josh Allen. I just don't understand why we continuously are shocked by this kind of move when the days prior we saw this version of this move made with 2 franchises in Baltimore and Pittsburgh, where however it was done, Baltimore firing and Pittsburgh resignation, the get over the hump guys, the guys that recently did not get over the hump, are no longer with those respective teams, and they both, Tomlin and Harbaugh, have done significantly more than McDermott has. They need to win now, they being Buffalo. They need to win now. And Adam Schefter discussed yesterday, senior NFL insider, you're going to hear in 40 minutes with us on the Pat McAfee Show, who could be the next head coach of the Buffalo Bills.
Obviously, it's going to be somebody that Josh Allen feels comfortable with. And it's going to be somebody that they believe can get them to the next level. Some combination of those things. So is that Joe Brady? Is that Brian Daboll? Is that the Broncos quarterbacks coach Davis Webb, who played for the organization, backed up Josh Allen, and is close with him? Is it one of those three individuals? Or do they veer outside that and dip their toe into this assistant coaching pool that's on the interview circuit right now? There's a lot of ways they could go. But I think they're going to want to make Josh Allen happy and whole here. And it wouldn't be a surprise if it's some kind of familiar face here.
You smirked. Why?
Where does your mind go when you hear that last line? I wouldn't be surprised if it's some sort of familiar face here.
Well, the ones he mentioned. They all have been there.
Right. But my mind immediately goes to Brian Daboll.
Yeah, well, he mentioned him.
No, I know, but that's the one that I immediately go to.
And I think Brian Daboll is a better coach than people made him out to be at the end in New York, but with the Giants, excuse me. But that's not where I would go. I need to guarantee myself some level of playoff success immediately. I have to find someone that I believe can bring me playoff success immediately. And I don't. Brian Daboll makes more sense than the other two, even though the other two may have, let's say, a long-term greater upside. I'm not in it for the long term. Right, let's say Davis Webb, who's a former quarterback, Broncos quarterbacks coach. Let's say everyone thinks once he gets used to being a head coach, look out. Same thing like Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen, right? Like Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen, first-time head coaches, everyone's raving about them, correct?
Correct.
If you applied those seasons to the Bills, colossal failure. Think about that. If the Liam Cohen, Ben Johnson seasons happen in Buffalo, those are colossal failures.
Because they've had playoff success.
Correct. So the idea of maybe this guy can be next up, like those, you can't have those two. So it needs to be the equivalent of the success of Belichick and Andy Reid and Mike Tomlin early. So like, that's what you need to find.
Whoever comes in, you're saying that this upcoming year, the floor is a conference championship game.
Yeah. Do you disagree with that?
Not necessarily. But that's a very tough thing to be able to predict.
And it's a very tough thing to ask a first-time ever head coach to pull off. Dan Graziano, ESPN NFL analyst, football outsider for us, will join us next to discuss this and all of the other openings going on in the NFL right now. And, of course, the playoffs coming up this weekend. We're on Sportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance.
Hey, this is Rich Eisen.
We are presented by Progressive Insurance. You can be a part of Unsportsmanlike Nation on the Dr. Pepper call-in line at 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. ESPN Nation, presented by Dr. Pepper. It's not college football season without the delicious taste of an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. College football, it's a pepper thing. You heard the national championship game here on ESPN Radio last night with Sean McDonough and Greg McElroy. And you heard that Indiana football are your national champs. IU won it all, 27-21 over Miami in Miami Gardens. They finish a 16-0 season. Yes, Kurt Cignetti, you do win. We have Googled you. And Fernando Mendoza, Heisman Trophy winner, undefeated national champion in his home state, and now going to likely be the number one pick in the draft by the Las Vegas Raiders. Along with Michelle Smallman, Chris Canty with us in a couple of hours. Evan Cohen with you. Good morning, Smalls. Indiana's a football champs, obviously.
Obviously. A sentence that we probably thought we'd never say in our lifetime, Ev, especially as two people who went to Big Ten schools. It's not like Indiana was a game you circled on your calendar and said, ooh, watch out for those Hoosiers. And the fact that Kurt Cignetti came into Bloomington and was able to turn this program around in such a short amount of time is nothing short of remarkable. And my goodness, Fernando Mendoza, what a legendary end to a fairy tale season for him. He was so good last night. That highlight